Several weeks ago, I was sitting down with an advisor and he was interested in actually buying insurance on himself. He's not a big insurance guy, doesn't really produce a whole lot of insurance, but he said, David, I actually need some insurance on me for my wife. And I said, okay. And so we get that going and you just wanted to buy some term insurance. So I go, well, how many years? He goes, 20 years. And hopefully I actually won't even need it that long. And I said, well, why? And he said, well, hopefully my book will grow to the point to where if something happens to me, that will just keep spinning off my income for my wife. And I said, well, we'll call him Jim. I said, Jim, does your wife know how to manage money? Does she have a relationship with your clients? And he goes, no. And I said, okay. I said, so she would eventually have to sell your book in the event that you pass. And he goes, yeah. And I said, well, if she has to sell that really fast, do you think she gets what your book is actually valued at, or does she get it? Does she sell it at an extreme discount in a fire sale? And his eyes, widened up, and he goes, "Oh, you know what? Maybe I need to keep this in force for longer as far as the insurance goes." And I said, "Yeah." I said, oftentimes when we think about buy-sell insurance, we think it requires two partners, but it doesn't. There's a term called no-sell buy-sell, where a business owner has insurance on themselves because they're the rainmaker, they wear all the hats, they're a single owner operator. Maybe they have a team, and maybe it's a big business. It doesn't really matter. But that policy is there in the event that they pass away. It funds the purchase of the business for a trust that the family actually owns. That gives the family time to go and find the right buyer at the right price, and also keeps all of his employees or her employees working and paid, so they're not running and scattering. Nothing devalues a business faster than every employee posting on a job finder website looking to get hired elsewhere. If you don't have anything, then it's not worth very much. And it doesn't matter what business you're in. I mean, if you think about real estate, if you have to sell your house in 30 days, how much is it worth? In Southern California, it might be worth quite a bit, but that kind of can depend on market timing. But if you have 6, 9, 12 months, you can ride through a downturn, you can get a fair valuation, and you could find the right buyer. So just because you don't have a partner doesn't mean you don't need buy-sell insurance. If anything, if you call it no-sell, buy-sell, you call it liquidity, you call it like valuation sustainability, it is so key for single owner businesses to have insurance on that business owner. It maintains that value, and it keeps the business going. And let's not even get into the fact, like, do you care about your employees? Do you want them to keep working? So if you're avoiding having buy-sell conversations because they don't have a partner, here's how you have that conversation. You have to maintain value and find the right buyer for your assets.